Hello everyone, this is Ahmed. So in the today's session we will talk about the basic statistics and different areas of statistics. So let us understand with the definition of statistics, and then we will go ahead with understanding that how the statistics is helpful in our day-to-day life. So statistics is the science of conducting studies to collect, to organize, to summarize, to analyze and drawing a conclusion out of the data. So to make any fact-based decision, we need data, and statistics will help us to collect the data and to analyze the data and to reveal the trends out of the data. Statistics help us to present the raw and messy data in a very intuitive way. So if we talk about the real-time data which we receive from the client, either from internal sources or external sources, will not be less than a million rows. Rows is nothing but which we call it as an observations. So whatever the data which you get for analysis is not a small data. So statistics help us in converting that raw and messy data into a meaningful information which helps us in making decisions. So let us take each word from the first sentence and understand what are the real components of statistics. So it is a science of collecting, organizing, analyzing and interpreting the data. Is all about the data. We call the data as a backbone of data science. So we collect the data through different sources like survey data, primary data, secondary data and the data from the experiments. So at a very high level there are two types of data set. One is primary data, another one is a secondary data. So primary data is the data which we receive from the client or the data which is limited to the organization. Let us take an example. Amazon has a huge customer database. So their database is limited to their analysis and their organizations. That data is not publicly available. But coming to the secondary data, the data which is available publicly for analysis and for commercial use, that is called the secondary data. So once we receive or once we get the data, we go ahead and organize it to give it a proper shape. So let us take an example. If you have the data in multiple sheets, Excel sheets, then what we can do, we need to merge both the Excel sheets to have a master data, because the data whatever you get will not be in a structured format. So we need to apply the multiple tests and the techniques to understand the data and make the data into a very presentable way. Sometimes we need to rearrange the order of the data. So once we organize the data, we analyze it to understand what it is telling us. We do things like finding a mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, skewness, kurtosis, etc. So besides all these techniques, there are multiple tests and the techniques in the statistics which help us to analyze the data. Then we interpret the data and try to answer the queries which makes business sense. Now let us understand how the statistics help in the analytics. So in any data science projects, statistics help us to deliver the initial level of insights, like what the data is speaking about. Before going the core technical part of the analytics, first we need to use the statistical concepts to analyze the data and to deliver the initial level of insights. So let me give you an example. I was working with one of the UK based client. So they sent us the historical data which was a period of 10 years. Then I went ahead and analyzed using the statistical tools and techniques to understand the data better. So after analyzing, we came to know that the dropout rate was drastically reduced in 2009. So the data was starting from 2005 to 2015, that is for 10 years. But what we observed that the dropout rate was drastically reduced in 2009. Then what we did, we went back to the client to understand the reason behind this. Then the client said that they have a change in the business strategy in 2009, so which reduces the dropouts. So that is, so here is the way how the statistics help us to understand the data, so that we can clear all our doubts with the clients and to understand the data better. Then what we did, we decided to consider the data from 2009 onwards for our predictive analysis. So guys, this is how the statistics help. So statistics deal with the collective informative data, interpreting this data and drawing a conclusion from the data. So guys, going forward, you will learn the multiple tests and the techniques which help you to drill down or dig your the data. So statistics are used in multiple disciplines like healthcare, business, education, insurance, marketing, telecom, e-commerce, pharmaceutical, multiple industries. So guys, now let us understand what are the two different areas of statistics. So the first one is descriptive statistics and the second one is the inferential statistics. So descriptive statistics help us to understand the raw data and drive the data according to our business problem. So guys, as I told you, once we receive the data, we apply the multiple tests and techniques to understand the data. Here where we use our descriptive statistics skills. So it is a term given to the analysis of the data that help summarize the data in a meaningful way. So data science, however, don't allow us to make decisions beyond the data we analyzed. So they are just simply the way to describe our data. So guys, let us take a very basic example of descriptive statistics. So in a class, there are 150 students and principal wanted to understand the performance of the whole class. Then we go for mean or median to know what is the average marks of this class, because the principal just needs summary of the whole class or summary of the whole data. So here the data is nothing but the marks which the students obtain in that class. So guys, to apply the descriptive statistics, we have the numerical and the graphical technique to look for a pattern in the data set, and to summarize the data, to present the data in a very intuitive way or convenient way. So when I talk about the numerical techniques, we do have the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, sample variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, maximum, minimum, sum and count, whatever. So on the left hand side, I have pasted the multiple techniques or multiple parameters which we used in the descriptive statistics. So coming to the graphical techniques, we do have the scatter plot, pie chart, correlation plot, Mosaic chart, area chart, heat map, etc. So there are only two ways to analyze the data at a very initial stage. One is the numerical technique, another one is the graphical technique. So example of descriptive statistics analysis. So for one of the data set for World Bank and that data for 2011. So if you look at the left hand side, the picture I have pasted, so I have extracted the few statistical parameters for that data. So for that data, the mean was around 11616.7. The standard error was 1361.2. The median was 4200. So here is how I have calculated all the parameters to understand the data better. So guys, now let us understand what is the inferential statistics. So this area helps us to make inferences from the data in order to make the conclusion that go beyond the immediate data. Suppose example, you have received the data and then you have applied your descriptive statistical skills, you understand the data. Now the question here is how you are going to deliver the business insights or initial level of insights to the client. So here there exists a inferential statistics skills which help us to estimate decisions or to extract the initial level of insights from the data. So use sample data to make estimates, decisions, predictions, or other generalizations about a larger set of data. So guys, in the inferential statistics, what we do is we take a sample. So what does the sample mean? So when you visit to any shop to purchase grains, so what you will do, you take one handful of grains to assess the quality of grains present in the whole bag. So same like here, when you get the whole data or whole population, so what you will do, you will take a small subset of data which is called the sample of data, provided that data, that sample data should represent the characteristics of whole population. So in this case, in the inferential statistical skills, we take the sample data and we estimate the characteristics of whole population. So if you look at the left hand side, the picture I have pasted, so this is my whole population which is a normally distributed. Then I have taken a sample. Even though if you take a sample, this is following a normal distribution, so which says that subset is representing the characteristics of whole population. So guys, let us take a simple example to understand how the inferential statistics help in our day-to-day life. Survey companies use the inferential statistics in their polls to generalize to the election results. So before polling, before results for any election, so we will get some exit poll results. How do these companies evaluate the exit poll results? So let us take an example. In a particular region, there are 1 lakh population. So these companies will not go to all the 1 lakh people to analyze the exit poll results or to perform a survey. So what they will do, they will take the subset of population or subset of people from the whole population. So those subset of people will represent the characteristics of whole population. So they do the exit poll survey only on that subset, because they cannot go to each and every individual person to collect the survey output. So this is how the inferential statistics help us to make the estimates and generalize to about the larger set of data. So guys, that's all for today. So I look forward to see you in the next session when we will be looking at the different areas of statistics. So till then, happy learning.